Hello everyone and welcome back to my 999 Let's Play. In the last episode, we met the 8 other participants in this nonary game, and well, let's just say in this episode we're going to be learning the fate of that 9th man. The explosion rocked the room. Instinctively, they ducked, then stood up slowly when they realized there was no danger. No one spoke. Silence filled the room. In that silence, the electronic tone that echoed across the room sounded as loud as a gunshot. All eyes turned toward it. It had come from the device mounted next to the door. The display changed from engaged to vacant. Let's see if we can open it. 7. The mountain swallowed hard. Junpei nodded and placed his hand on the scanner panel. A red asterisk appeared on the LCD display panel. The device had registers Junpei's bracelet. Number 5. This was not enough, however. At least 2 other people more people were needed, Junpei asked. Which pair? So, which pair do we want to choose? I don't think it makes much of a difference, so we're going to go with Ace and Lotus. You think you could give me a hand here? You think you could give me a hand here? The pun was a little too on the nose, but the mood was still grim. Both Ace and Lotus lifted their left hands silently. He verified, and she followed suit. And then you're going to see some math that equals 5. They'd fulfilled the conditions. If they were to pull the lever on the side. Are you guys ready? I'm gonna open it. Sorry, it's hard for me to remember the continuity of the voices because I am not recording all of these at once. I'm recording in sets, so. Junpei grabbed the lever and looked back over his shoulder. They stiffened and nodded. Junpei nodded back and set his mouth in a grim line. Then he slowly lowered the lever. There was a metallic groan and the door slid open. A breath of air drafted out of it, carrying the stench that nearly made them gag. Junpei grimaced and put a hand over his mouth. Oh my god. Good god. Lotus and Ace shuddered. 7 grunted. Whoa, that's pretty bad. Even Santa's voice shook. He blew up. It appeared that Santa was right. The hallway on the other side of the door was splattered with chunks of torn flesh and dark red blood. Aye! The shriek echoed across the room. It had come from June. Then her strength left her and she dropped. As Junpei turned to catch her, the door groaned shut. She crumpled to the floor. June, are you okay? Junpei dropped to his knees and put his arm around her shoulders. That was when he noticed. Her whole body was feverish. She was radiating intense heat. What the hell? Where did this fever come from? June didn't answer. Her face looked like wax and her whole body began to shake. Alright, let's just rest for a minute, okay? You think you can walk? She nodded weakly. Junpei lifted June to her feet and guided her to a nearby chair. Here we go. As gently as he could, he set her down. How are you feeling? Are you alright? She nodded, and as she did, a single huge tear rolled down the side of her face. Why? Why did this happen? voice cracked, broken by misery and grief and choked by sobs. Why did this happen? Junpei spun around. Do any of you know what the fuck's going on here? Who is Zero? What's this nonnery game? Come on, anyone. Anything. What the hell is going on? What are we doing here? No one spoke. Ace, Snake, Santa, Clover, Seven, and Lotus. They simply stood there, 7 pairs of downcast eyes and 7 grim lines for mouths. 6. That doesn't make sense. They might have messed up that in the dub, or not in the dub, in the translation, because that should be 6 pairs. Because there's only 6 people, because June and Junpei make 8, because the 9th man has just died. So I'm not sure if that's a translation error, because again, this game has not been touched since 2000, I want to say like 9. So I'm not sure if that's a translation error, or maybe I'm missing something. I just wanted to point that out, so. June's body shook with silent sobs. They slowed as the minutes ticked by, and eventually they stopped. Then, suddenly, in the cold, heavy silence that enveloped them like a thick fog, a bell began to ring. The clock in the central hall. 7, 8, 9, 10 times. And then, on the 10th ring, it stopped, and the sound of the bell faded away in silence. It's 10 o'clock, then. Ace said what each of them had been thinking. That means it's been an hour since Zero's little announcement. Oh, shit, that's 7. Oh, yeah, that means it's been an hour since Zero's little announcement. 7's deep voice echoed across the room. Fuck! I've had enough of this crap! Santa leapt to his feet, his fists clenched. How long are we gonna pussyfoot around like this? We've only got 8 hours until the time limit Zero was going on about is up. Let's get going already. Go, go! Santa's outburst fell on deaf ears. No one seemed to agree with him. They stared back at him, their eyes blank, and their faces tired. Finally, Lotus spoke. No, I refuse. I'm not going to end up like him. Him. Oh, him? You mean like the 9th man? Of course. Who else? In his mind, Junpei saw the corpse again. The dark, reddish, black pool of blood. The scattered pieces of flesh. Organs strewn about the floor like the blossoming of a grotesque flower. The explosion that had torn through his body had been powerful. The 9th man's neck had been twisted at an odd angle. Junpei suspected the detonation had thrown him against the wall. Half of his face was crushed, and the other half was covered in blood. Most of his abdomen had been emptied, either by the explosion or by gravity. He had landed on his back, and stark white ribs jutted out of his chest like the legs of some sort of macabre crab. Junpei felt something in his stomach. I think he just screwed up. Eyebrows went up, and Santa continued. He probably set off some sort of trap or something that killed him. I'm not going to screw up like that. I'm getting out of here alive. Whatever Snake was laughing at, Santa did not find particularly humorous. What's so goddamn funny? Oh, my apologies. You were just so confident. I couldn't help myself. What the fuck? I think you've mistaken the situation. The 9th man's death. It had nothing to do with a trap, or at least not the sort of trap you imagine it did. Then he broke one of Zero's rules. That was why he died. Quite simply, if you think about it. You still don't? All right. How about you take for a moment and think back to what Zero said. Specifically, what did he say about the number of people? He said only he said only 3 to 5 people can pass through one numbered door. Right? And after that, you've forgotten the relevant part. What did Zero say? Santa furrowed his brow in thought. Junpei thought back. Zero said, I believe that Zero said that everyone who verified had to go. So that's what we're going to click. All those who enter must leave, and all those who enter must contribute. Right? I think it's something like that. Whatever it was, it means the groups of less than 3 and more than 5 can't go through. That is correct. A gold star for you, Junpei. Snake inclined his head toward Junpei. The 9th man, however, broke that rule. He tried to pass through a numbered door by himself. That was why he was executed. Then Zero's watching us from somewhere, making sure we don't break any of his rules, huh? Oh, I'm not so sure of that. Why not? Because this execution system is entirely automatic. You didn't notice? There's no need for him to monitor us. What do you mean? Snake looked at Seven with what could only be described as pity and sighed. Very well. I see it must be me who tells you. I've waited long enough, I suppose. I had hoped Zero might spare me this trouble, but it seems increasingly unlikely. He couldn't see them, of course, but perhaps Snake sensed the confused eyes upon him. When Ace spoke, he gave words to everyone else's thoughts. Do you know something? Well, I know a great many things, but yes. What is it that you know? Here. Snake removed a card from the pocket of his jacket. With a flourish, he presented it to Ace, who took a close look and spoke. Come on now. What's the point of giving me this? Give me that! Santa snatched the card from Ace, but his expression of disgust quickly turned to one of confusion. Huh? The hell's this? Seven tugged it out of Santa's hands. I see. The card went from Seven to Lotus, from Lotus to June, and finally to Junpei. He looked at it and understood. This is Braille. Braille. The written language of the blind. The card was covered with small embossed bumps. Junpei could recognize it, but he couldn't... Yeah, he could recognize it, but he certainly couldn't read it. Sorry, guys, I can't read this. Junpei handed the card back to Snake, who nodded at him with a small smirk. Oh, that was... Okay, that was fun. What's so important about the card? I found it in my pocket. I can only assume it is a message from Zero. From Zero? A message? What does it say? And I am sorry if my voices aren't continuous. It's very hard for me to get the voices in the right pitch and whatnot. So please just bear with me with that. Suddenly, everyone was crowding around Snake, desperate to hear what the message said. Santa especially looked as if he were about to grab Snake and shake answers from him. Snake released his Snake released his hand. Calm down now. Calm down now. No need to panic. You don't need to force me. I'll read it. Junpei swallowed hard and waited for him to start. He was not the only one. Presently, Snake began to read. His voice calm. His fingers guided over the tiny bumps as he spoke. I'm going to be reading this in Snake's voice. So. Bracelet number 2. Since you are not blessed with sight, I shall bless you and only you with information. I shall tell you the function of the red, of the dead, and of the bracelet. The red is the recognition device. It will verify your number. Beside every numbered door, you will find a red. The dead is the deactivation device. It does exactly what it says. Once you have passed through the numbered door, you must use the dead to stop the detonator in your bracelet. But perhaps you are wondering, what does this detonator detonate? I am afraid this may be something of a surprise. I have placed a small bomb inside of you and the people whom you are about to meet. You swallowed it while you were unconscious. I have no doubt by the time you read this note, the bomb will have passed your stomach and found its way to your small intestine. In other words, you will be unable to regurgitate it. I suggest you do not try. As I mentioned before, the bracelet on your left hand contains a detonator. Think of it as a remote fuse or timer for the bomb in your body. There is only one condition which will cause it to detonate. That condition is that you enter a numbered door. Once you have done so, the timer will activate no matter who you may be. You will have 81 seconds. If after that time the detonator has not been deactivated, it will send a signal to the bomb in your body instructing it to explode. In order to deactivate the detonator, every person who verified their numbers at the red must also verify their numbers at the dead. Once all the numbers have been verified by the dead, you need only pull the lever at its side and the countdown will cease. Anyone who does not verify their number at the red will find themselves unable to verify their number at the dead. That is to say, if you should pass through a numbered door without first verifying your number at the red, in 81 seconds you will be dead. You must also keep in mind that the numbered doors will close automatically after 9 seconds have passed. So as long as the door is open, the dead will not function. You will do well to remember this. Lastly, let us discuss how to remove the bracelets. There are only 2 ways to do so. The first, you escape from this ship. The second, your heart rate reaches 0. In other words, once the bracelet is taken outside the confines of this ship, or detects the wearer's heartbeat has fallen to 0, it will shut down automatically. There are no other ways to remove your bracelet. If you attempt to force it off or disable the detonator, the bomb within you will immediately explode. This is all the information which I can impart to you. How you choose to use it is for you to decide. If used wisely, you can eliminate those who might be a danger to you. For a time, you would be able to control your fate. I wish you the best of luck. Snake finished reading and carefully returned the card to his pocket. The message had been lengthy, but its meaning was clear. Only those who have verified their numbers at the red could pass through the numbered doors. Teams could not increase or decrease their numbers. The reds, deads, and bracelets enforced the rules. They were judge, jury, and executioner. In defiance of Zero's suggestions, both Santa and Seven put fingers down their throats and began to gag. The rest stiffened. Some touched their stomachs, some simply stared at their bracelets. Junpei gingerly touched his stomach. There was a bomb inside of his body. The thought of it made him queasy. His stomach felt oddly hollow and his legs very weak. Why had Zero designed such a ludicrous game? Junpei looked over at the others. Alright, I'm gonna ask one more time. Do any of you know about Zero? They were all silent, each person waiting to hear what the other would say. Finally, Santa spoke. Actually, I saw him. I saw Zero when I got grabbed. I didn't see his face, though. Son of a bitch was wearing some kind of gas mask. What the hell? Come on, guys, give me something. You know, like surprise or something. Instead, it was Santa who looked surprised. There was a moment of silence, and then everyone spoke at once. Yeah, I saw him too. Me too. He was all wearing a gas mask. As stories were sorted out, the truth became clear. All of the stories were the same. They had been abducted at home at midnight. The person claiming to be Zero had worn a gas mask. There had been white smoke, and then each of them had passed out. Then, when they awoke, they had found themselves on D-deck in a room with a 3-level bunk bed. Only 7 stories seemed to lack the details of the others. Oh, me? Yeah, well, mine's just like the rest of yours. That was all he said. It occurred to Junpei at that time that this sounded somewhat strange, but he didn't press the issue. He hadn't done so because there was something that struck him as even stranger. That was the mystery of the relationship between Snake and Clover. For some reason, they had been abducted in the same room and woken up in the same room. Junpei looked at them thoughtfully. So what's the deal with you two anyway? It was Clover that answered. Clearly she felt she had nothing to hide. We're siblings! Oh fuck, that's gonna kill me, that voice. Siblings? Yes. Snake is my older brother, obviously. That means I'm his little sister. That really so hard to understand? Junpei was taken aback. The others seemed just as surprised. She is correct, of course. He laid his hand on Clover's shoulder. Are you surprised? Well, yeah, but... Why? There are no other people here with connections to one another. Those two, for instance. Snake pointed at Junpei and June. Oh, do you mean between Jumpy and me? Yes. You did say you were childhood friends, didn't you? You, went to school together? Yeah. June glanced at Junpei, uncomfortable with the sudden attention. Junpei felt somewhat nervous as well, and tried to scratch his head as casually as possible. Hey, you think maybe we could figure out who Zero is this way? Yeah, you're right. You connect the dots between the victims, and that leads you to the perp. Textbook stuff. Junpei, June, does any of that ring a bell? Ring a bell. Ring a bell? They looked at one another, and like it was staged, they both tilted their neck at the same time. Well, perhaps you went to school with, some sort of multi-millionaire. A millionaire? Son? Well, someone bought this boat and set up all of this. Whoever Zero is, they must be incredibly rich. Well, they can't be sure of that. To me, this seems... Oh, shit. To me, this seems though it's the work of an organization and not an individual. Zero is most likely the representative for a larger group. What sort of organization? It could be a number of things, an army perhaps, or a research group. Perhaps this is all some sort of psychological experiment. If it is, then it's pretty... if it is this pretty fucked up experiment. I mean, come on, the guy's dead. The word dead hung in the air, heavy and ominous. The room went quiet again. I don't know who the hell this Zero asshole is, but I know I sure forgot. Holy fuck. But I know for sure he's gotta be pretty fucked up in the head to do all of this. If this was all one guy, he's got some serious issues. Even with the specter of death hanging over them, their discussions continued for some time. In the end, however, they learned nothing. By the time they had finished, 1.5 of the 9 hours were gone. All they had to show for it was impatience. Man, look, we've only got 7.5 hours left, okay? You really just gonna sit around? No one was willing to argue this time. Very well, then. There's only one way for us to proceed. Sure, not gonna be fun running around knowing we gotta jump when Zero says. Jump.
Well, it's so much to sit around here doing nothing.
Thanks to Snake's card. Thanks to Snake's card, at least we have some idea how this all works. Correct, and so long as we follow the rules, we will most likely be alright. But what? Who's gonna go in which door? June looked at the number of doors. Oh yeah, that's right. We can't have any more than 5 people in one door. All 8 of us can't go in the same door. And then it would seem we have to split up. Wait. Lotus looked terrified. I'm telling you now, there's no way in hell I'm going in door number 5. Come on now, don't be selfish. Call me whatever the hell you want, I'm not going in there. If I'm going to have to walk through all that blood, then I'd rather stay here. And we were doing so well. Ace shook his head sadly. Sorry, but I ain't going in there either. Someone else is gonna have to go through door number 5. Oh, Santa, you too. Hey man, I just bought these shoes. If you think I'm gonna get some creepy dudes blood all of them, you got another thing coming. You got another think coming. Yeah, so there are some errors because actually you've got another thing coming. So, they definitely made some mistakes in translation, so that makes sense. That was the last straw. What the hell, man? Were you the one keep saying we gotta get going? Yeah, so? Doesn't mean I want to go into door number 5. Oh god. There was an awkward silence, and finally Seven spoke. Fine, I'll go in door 5. I can't go in there alone though. Anyone willing to come with me? There was a long silence. This time Snake was the one to break it. I'll go.
What?
Don't worry, you'll be fine. We may part now, but I'm certain we'll meet again later.
How do you know that?
Because I do. Oh, because I do.
That's not an answer. If you're going, I'm going too. I'm going in door 5.
What am I going to do with you? There's nothing to do. You have to do. Ace stepped forward. If I join you, the problem is solved, correct? 7 and 2. If you add Clovis 4 and my 1, the digital root would be 5.
Oh, it works perfectly! The 4 of us can go in door 5!
Wait, what about the other door 4? What's the digital root gonna be? Junpei did a quick mental calculation. Lotus, Santa, June, and Junpei remained. Their relationship numbers were 8, 3, 6, and 5. What would their digital root be? Well, the digital root of that is going to be 8 plus 8 for 16, 16 plus 6, 4, 22, 2 plus 2 for 4, so that actually does work. He repeated what he determined. It's 4. Add up our 4 bracelet numbers, and the digital root is 4. Then we can go in door 4. Yeah, that'll work out well. Junpei ran over his team assignments in his head one more time. 4 people would go into door 5. 7, Snake, Clover, and Ace. 4 people would go into door 4. Lotus, Santa, June, and Junpei. Junpei had to ask himself if the teams were really what he wanted. Beyond door 5, what remained of the 9th man. He never wanted to see that thing again, but something in him said that it would be unwise not to examine the corpse even a little closer. Of course, if he went through door 5, he wouldn't be going with Lotus and Santa. True, it would be possible for him to bring June with him through door 5, but that would mean she would have to see the horrific carnage that waited there. Junpei did not want that. Junpei was torn. Should he stay silent or go through the door number 4? Or should he stop them all and insist on door 5? As he turned his options over and over in his head, Ace spoke up. All right then. It seems we have reached a conclusion. Shall we go? He began to walk towards door 5. Clover and Snake followed with 7, a short distance behind. Junpei, which door do you want to go through? So, I have been Vampire 218, bringing you the most recent episode 3 of my 999 Let's Play. If you like the video, please make sure to smash that like button and tune in next time to find out which door we will be going through. I really hope that you're enjoying this series. I'm loving making it and playing through this game again. The nostalgia is very real. It's a very good series for me. And I'm really excited to get to bring you the second and third games as well. So, I've been Vampire 218. Please make sure to check out other things on my channel. Make sure to leave a like, share, comment, favorite, and subscribe. And check out the next video when it's out. Bye.